What is your name and what do you do here at Parsons High School?
My name is Sally Clay, and I teach junior English, and I also teach a few college classes through LCC, like Comp 1, Comp 2, Developmental Psych, and General Psych.
My name is Adam Payne. I'm a English teacher here at the high school. I teach senior English, Honors 11, Honors 10, and English 10.
My name is Linda Moore, and I teach English, and it's primarily for 9th and 10th graders in honors classes.
I'm Robbie Martin. I'm the librarian here at Parsons High School.
My name is Rob Barkus, and I'm the principal here at Parsons High School.
What is the name of your favorite literary work?
Team of Rivals, The Political Genius of Abraham Lincoln. Right here.
My favorite book is Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury.
My favorite literary work is probably The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. I have my own copy at home.
My mind just kept settling on To Kill a Mockingbird. I have a copy of it here.
My favorite literary work is the poem The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. I have a digital copy here, but one of the interesting things about that is it is a poem that I memorized when I was in 7th grade and can still recite it.
What do you like most about this piece of literature?
The poem talks about a man who is at a crossroads in his life, and that both paths look the same, but he knows that they're going to take him to different places. I know that in high school especially there are a lot of choices in front of you, and that those choices all seem like they're going to lead the same places, but the path that you choose is going to take you somewhere that none of the other ones can.
So this book takes place during Halloween, like during the month of October. And one of the main characters is born just before midnight, the night before Halloween, and then the other one is born just after midnight, the day of Halloween. And Halloween is like my favorite holiday, so that's one of the reasons I love this book.
It's a good historical account of Lincoln securing the nomination for president, winning the nomination, and then his presidency during the Civil War.
What I like most about this book is it's probably what really got me started reading whenever I first read it in middle school, and I think it's something that most readers can still identify with today.
You know, it's a book that dishes up everything. It made me laugh, it made me cry, it made me think, and it deals with the basic concept of good versus evil, seeing that people are capable of both and people choosing to do good.
What is your favorite quote from this piece of literature?
Well, I have two. The first quote is a line by Scout Finch. She's the daughter of the lawyer in the story. And she says, "I think there's just one kind of folks, meaning that we're all the same." And that's illustrated all through this story. There's another quote that I've always loved. It's a line by Atticus Finch, who's the lawyer in the story and Scout's father. Atticus says, "You never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view, until you climb inside of his skin and walk around in it." And that's just always really stuck with me.
My favorite quote from this book is, "You'll live and get hurt."
My favorite quote is probably where it says, "And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step of trodden black. Oh, how I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads unto way, I know that I shouldn't come back." And that idea that, again, that the paths are going to look similar, but once you choose a path, you're going to have to stick to it.
I don't know that I necessarily have a favorite quote from the book. Maybe the classic "Stay gold, ponies stay gold." But otherwise, I mean, there's just so many different moments in that book. So.
There's a lot of good quotes in the book. I probably don't have a favorite. I do like the part where it talks about him writing the Gettysburg Address and then also reading it. So really the whole Gettysburg Address and the reason behind it.
What is the message of this and why do you think it's important?
Lincoln barely secured the nomination to be president at this time, and the 4 people that he actually ran against, he ended up putting in his cabinet. So it's called a team of rivals because he took people that were originally against him to try to be president and formed a cohesive unit to run the nation.
I think the message is to continue trying to do your best regardless of the circumstances around you, either how you're brought up or things that happen around you. And I think it's just something that, like I said before, is timeless and that everybody can relate to on some level.
The message in this is that there is suffering in living. Like, how do we truly experience happiness if we never know, like, pain and hurt and suffering? Specifically, the woman in the book who says this is the mother of one of the main characters, And as mothers, like, our job is to protect our children, but then we realize that eventually there's going to come a day where we can't anymore and we have to let them out into the world. And we know that that world can be harsh and they'll probably get hurt and there's nothing we can do to stop it.
I think overall the message of literature is that choices are important. The end of the poem says, "Two roads diverged in the yellow wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference." The choices that you make early on make a large impact. I think that's important to remember and understand, that whether it's a choice for good or a choice that leads to kind of a harder life, it was still your choice to make.
The title itself, To Kill a Mockingbird, mockingbirds are innocent things. They don't do any harm. They just bring joy. And to kill a mockingbird in their community at that time, it was known that, it would be evil to kill a mockingbird. And there are lots of mockingbirds all around us, good, innocent people that just do good and bring joy. And, how awful it is to do harm to those mockingbird kinds of people.
What is one way that literature has changed your life?
Oh, it's just it just opens your mind to imagining different things, and if you read historical stuff, it just reinforces the things you learn in school.
Literature has changed my life, either as a youngster and even as an adult. I've always seen it as an escape. I've always seen it as being able to live somebody else's life and experiences and see what happens when they do things that maybe I wouldn't have the courage to do.
Oh my goodness, well, if it weren't for literature, I wouldn't be here. The reason I became an English teacher is because I love literature. I love reading, and I wanted to pass that on to, future generations.
It brought me to a career that I've had for over 30 years that I've loved. I came across a couple of really wonderful books when I was very young, became a lifetime reader, and taught school, taught 5th grade, and then very quickly decided I wanted to be in the library. So I went back to school and got my degree in library. So been here a long time.
I think literature in general, if you get past the stuffiness of it or the dryness of it, and really kind of dig into it, it's that idea of human beings and emotion, and that it's a way to project how you think and you feel in an artistic way.
Why is it important now, more than ever, that students read?
I think it helps with concentration and focus. I think so many times with TikTok and short videos that you don't really focus on things for very long. So I feel when you sit down and you really take time to read a book, you're really focused and you completely lose yourself in the book.
It is so important, I think. Anyone that's had me in class knows, I think the slippery slope of technology, but I think more so in that, unfortunately, people are going to lose, students especially, their right to read things of their choice if we're not careful. And I think you need to be an avid reader in order to understand what kind of loss that is.
I think I'm going to refer back to another Bradbury quote from Fahrenheit 451, is that there's something in books. Like, there's something in books that makes them seem dangerous, otherwise we wouldn't have banned books. And you guys need to be curious about what it is that people are trying to keep you from reading. It opens up like a whole new world of characters and places and experiences that you may never be able to see for yourself if it weren't for books.
There's the obvious things that reading do for students. Increased vocabulary, better retention. There's all kinds of data. But I think maybe one of the most important things I think that reading does for students is makes them more empathetic humans and help us all to step inside somebody else's skin and walk around in it for a while.
Reading is the gateway for so many things, not only for you professionally, but creatively. The ability to express yourself all comes from being able to understand thoughts and ideas and how to put those into words, and you do that by reading.
Are there any final thoughts that you'd like to leave for the students of Parsons High School?
I just encourage you all to read anything you can get your hands on. Find something you really like and really dive into it, and it really opens up your world.
Yes, read, read. Mrs. Martin in the library is just, she's a nugget. She's wonderful. She's someone that will help you out in any way and help you find that first book if you're not a reader, and help you find others. Like I said, it's a privilege that some districts don't really have, and I think we need to take advantage that we do.
Come in the library and grab a good book. We have so many great books, and we have a great staff of voracious reading teachers that love to recommend books. So ask a teacher and then come on in and we'll get you fixed up with a great story.
I think just, everybody's trying to do, make their own special place in this world, and each of you are unique, and you do have a special place in this world. It may take some time to find it, but it's out there, and I would just keep encouraging you guys to keep looking for it.
Some of my final thoughts, going back to the poem, are, I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence, is that Frost is telling us that in the moment, he wasn't sure which way to go, but that whatever path that he chose, it made a large impact on him, and to think about your choices now, because they're going to matter long term.